The November 12, 2020 meeting of the Municipal Code Enforcement Board is called to order. If everyone would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the Municipal Code Enforcement Board is charged with conducting hearings to determine whether an alleged violation of the city code has occurred. Decisions made by this quasi-judicial board will be based on the evidence and facts presented tonight. Our meetings are conducted in accordance with Robert's Rules of Order, and each case will begin with the city presenting its evidence of the alleged violation. The respondent will then present his or her case. Both parties will have an opportunity to cross-examine all witnesses. The board members may question any witness. Comments by both parties must be relevant to the case. Persons wishing to speak will be given an opportunity to do so by the chair and must address the board from the podium after giving their name and address. I want to stop there just a minute since we have so many people here. In order to kind of maintain some efficiency, please don't speak from your chair, even if, I know the urge is great. If you have something to say, wait to be recognized. Come up to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and then you may say whatever it is that you want to say, and you will be given the opportunity to do so. It gets very chaotic if everybody starts kind of raising their hand and speaking from the gallery. Okay, thank you. Board members are reminded. Upon request, copies of materials submitted by the staff are available for review. Board members are reminded to obtain permission to speak from the chair, and questions of the city should be directed to the attorney for the city. At this time, we'll ask that all persons who expect to give testimony tonight to please stand and be sworn in by the city clerk. Anybody that's going to be saying anything tonight should stand and get sworn in, even if you think you might.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony or evidence you're about to give or present is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you. So from time to time, including tonight, we will take cases out of order to accommodate those of you that are out in the gallery. Before we get started, we need to do our ex parte communications. So I'll now ask the members of the board if they've had any ex parte communications with anyone regarding any of the matters that are coming before the board this evening. If you've had a verbal ex parte communication, please disclose when, where, and with whom those communications occurred, as well as the sum and substance of those communications. If you receive written ex parte communications, please disclose the form of the written communication, who sent you the written communication, and the sum and substance of those communications. So I'll start at this end.
No, I have not had any.
No. I've not had any?
I have none.
Okay, thank you very much. At this time, I would ask if everybody has a copy of the meeting minutes from the last meeting held on October 14, 2020. Are there any changes, additions, or corrections? If not, seeing none, I'll ask for a motion. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. On to the first case. Our first case tonight is case number 20-3740, City versus Marc P. Rodrigues and Pamela, is it Gomes or Gnomes?
Gomez.
Gomez. Thank you, Gomez.
Case number 20-3740, City versus Marc P. Rodrigues and Pamela Gomez for the property located at 315 Brentwood Drive. Cases before the board based on alleged violation of Section 828A1, permits application required. Case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Director Tom Baroni. City has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Thank you.
Good evening, Tom Baroni, Code Compliance. This case originated back on August 8, 2020, when I received a phone call from the building official, Amir Anisi, to check on a complaint that he received of construction work being in the rear yard without permits. The homeowner was home at the time and allowed me to enter the rear yard when I noticed an accessory structure attached to the back portion of the house with new posts and decking. I took a photo of the completed structure and advised the homeowner to follow up with the building department to obtain a permit. When code staff received a list of outstanding stop work orders on September 18, 2020, this property was on the list. That same day, I prepared a notice of violation with the compliance date of October 5th, 2020. I posted the notice at the front door as well as sent copies certified in first-class mail. I also requested a copy be posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement. My conversation on October 29, 2020, with the building department noted that the permit was still had not been obtained, and therefore the case was prepared for the code board this evening. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence of the violation that was taken by me. Exhibit 1 shows the accessory structure in the rear yard taken on August 7, 2020. I'd like to submit at this time.
We'll accept those, thank you.
Thank you.
As of today's date, the property remains out of compliance, and the building official, Amir Anisi, is here tonight to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you. You have any questions for Officer Baroni? Any questions for Amir?
Okay?
If the
Ma'am, sir,
respondents
would
would
you
like
like to
to address the issue, you may come up, state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. Pamela Gomez, 315 Brentwood Drive, and,
Marc Rodrigues, 315 Brentwood Drive.
okay. So we moved into our home, I want to say in January. We purchased a home in December, and this house was sitting on the market for about 2 years. And when we got inside the house, the inside of the house was remodeled, and we were like, great, we'll just have to focus on doing the outside of the home. We had a budget, like, to be able to do that. But the first week, I was 8 months pregnant, the first week we got inside the house, the floor started popping up. So all our budget that was allocated for the outside of the home, right? Because like we knew what we were getting into in terms of the outside of the house. The floors did not make inspection. And so we spent $20,000 on the floors, redoing the whole floors of the house. With that said, my father, who is like a very handy person, offered to help us. And he saw that the wood was rotting in an existing structure that was behind the house, which is the structure that was shown to you tonight. My father went ahead and replaced the decking of like the rotten wood. That's pretty much what we did. Just like to be able to help us, he works doing maintenance. He's like very handy and he does construction. And that was all that was done to that structure. I don't know what else you want to add. And we had to leave just in terms of the timeline. I had my baby in March of this year. The pandemic has hit everybody differently. And we had to leave town. I understand that some of these notices were sent, but we did leave town for about a month or so, just to address some family matters. So we've been out of town and like just dealing with a lot, like personally. So if we haven't addressed things in the manner, the rapid see that it's not because we haven't been tending to it or like have it in our mind. It's just that there's a lot going on. I just have that to say.
Thank you.
And real quick, I'll try to keep it brief in the interest of time. Just to reiterate and just to clarify that it was an existing structure. And initially our plan was just to replace the flooring of the deck. But once we looked at that and what was underneath it, we saw that a lot of it was rotten, might have been termite issues. So we just went ahead and replaced it all with new pressure treated wood. I have a couple of pictures of kind of what the deck looked like in process. And also, when it comes to the roof portion of it, I'm actually in touch with a contractor who was supposed to come to our house on Tuesday, but because of the weather situation, they couldn't come. I mean, they've already given us an estimate, so when they were gonna come on Tuesday, it was already the second time just to look over things. They've already given us an estimate, and we're gonna go with them to actually put in a new roof, and they're gonna apply for all the permits for the roof. So I guess just to sum it up, sorry. It's hard to talk with one of these things
You
on.
can take, if you.
I guess just to sum it up, like, this is our first time homeowners, this is our first time living in Temple Terrace. We're just looking for a little bit of leniency. I'll literally do what I gotta do tomorrow to apply for this permit for the deck. It just kind of went over my head what exactly I had to do, and life happened, so we apologize for that, but that's basically it.
Thank you.
If you want any of those photos, I could,
I don't think we need to see them right now.
Okay.
If we do, we'll bring you back up.
okay, thanks.
Amir, could you come up for a minute, please? So if you could just explain to the code board how many permits and which permits are necessary to bring this into compliance?
Based on the photo Tom obtained on the rear of the property, most likely we need just the general building permit for framing, walls and perhaps for the roof portion.
Okay,
So
so,
if they are hiring the contractor to do that, that should be simple.
okay, and has all the requirements to get a permit, have that been explained to the respondents? So they don't show up tomorrow to get a permit and find out they got drawings necessary or whatever?
We haven't had any communication up to this point. We'd be happy to do that.
Okay, it
if
sounds like he's
that's-
willing to work, to do that, whatever he's got to do. So whatever the outcome here is,
Yes,
I would suggest you hang around at least a little bit to explain to them
sure.
what's necessary so that he doesn't have to make multiple trips down to City Hall in order
Absolutely.
to be able to obtain his building permit.
Sure.
Thank you. Any other questions for Amir?
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
This should show my ignorance totally, but how much does it cost for a permit for this, approximately? So I guess there's different prices for different permits.
We have a fee schedule. I don't have it in front of me.
Well, I mean, about, is it $20 or $500?
Well, give and take, I would say within a couple of $100. I
Okay.
mean, the fee schedule is posted online. Anybody
Yeah,
can.
well, I just wonder why I didn't already do it. I mean, life happens, it's true, but I guess the point is that we all need to know that the permits are important because people could do things that would be really, really bad for the next homeowner, right?
Sure,
So
For them.
you got to do it, and so you just do it, as simple as that, right?
sure.
Yeah, and it is for it's for the homeowners' benefits. It gives,
It has to be done for all the citizens, right?
so, okay, thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none? Go ahead.
This is actually for them. Will it be completed by this month? By any month, of course, weather permitting?
You mean the actual work or just just getting the permit?
The work is already completed. You already done with that part of it? And it's just getting the permit?
Most of it is completed, but like I said,
The roof.
we're also getting a contractor to do the roof for us, and I'm not sure what their timeline is. They said that it's gonna take at least a couple of weeks to draw up the plans and pull the permits from the city.
But the permits are at issue, it's not the structure. It's just getting the permits. They can, once they have the permits, they can take as long as they need to finish the structure, as long as they have the permit.
Yes, your suggestion is perfect. They just help them get the permit, and I think that's perfect.
So, okay. Any other questions? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion. Thank you, Amir. Anyone? Thank you.
So, in case number 20-3740, I move that the city has proven by a greater weight of the evidence of the following violation of the city of Temple Terrace code which exists on the property located at 35315 Brentwood Drive. Under the section of 8-28A1, permits and application required. This motion is based off the sworn testimony of this board and received from the code enforcement officer, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and a notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that the said violation be corrected on or before our next meeting,
December 9th.
December 9th, 2020. If the respondent does not comply with the order on or before that day, they are ordered to pay the fine for each day and every day that the violation continues, past the date set for the compliance of $25. I apologize. Upon considering the following factors, the gravity of the violations, any actions taken by the violator to correct the violations, and any previous violations committed by the violator, I move that the fine be $25 per day.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? No nays. Motion carries. Next case, please.
Case number 204202, City versus McNatt Family Enterprises LTD for the property located at 12904 North 56th Street. The case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 828A1 permits, application required. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Director Tom Baroni. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were both properly served.
Thank you.
Good evening, Tom Baroni, Code Compliance. This case this evening originated back in mid-August when building official Amir Anisi and Fire Marshal Michael Hegwood did an interior inspection of the building when they noticed a firewall installed without permits. After speaking with Mr. Anisi on September 1st, 2020, he requested I prepare a notice of violation due to the owner has not applied for any permits for interior renovations. That same day, a notice of violation was prepared by me with the compliance date of September 16, 2020. I posted the notice at the property and requested copies be sent out certified in first-class mail. I also requested a copy to be posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement. I did receive a phone call from the contractor requesting an additional month to obtain the permits which was granted. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence of the interior renovations that was taken by me on October 30th, 2020. Exhibit number 1 shows the construction work of the interior. Like to submit at this time, sir?
We'll accept those. Thank you.
Thank you.
A check with Community Development on October 30th noted no change, therefore the property remains out of compliance. Mr. Anisi is here tonight to answer any questions that the board has.
Okay. Any questions from Officer Baroni or Amir? None. Thank you, gentlemen.
Amir, you want to mention anything about this, please? This is the-
Well, I just, again, I think, just like the last case, if you would just explain to the board which permit is necessary to bring this into compliance.
Yes, this particular property is a commercial property, so it used to be art supply, so they pretty much moved the demising wall, the firewall, the separation wall. They added this space without a permit, and we need few permit. We need electrical, perhaps we need the building, and I'm not sure about the mechanical. So
There's multiple permits.
multiple permit. We don't know the extent of the work. And again, they apply for business tax license, it still is pending, because the type of business they want to open, it may not comply with the general commercial zoning. We have probably life safety issue, parking issue. So we've been communicating with the property owner and also his representative, but nothing came through so far.
And as of October 30th, it was still out of compliance.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Would the respondent like to say anything? Come on up, state your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. My name is Perry Solomon. My address is 4211 River Hills Drive. I've been commissioned to represent the owner, but we ran into some other issues with zoning. We started doing the plans to get the permit, and we found out that the space that we are getting the permit for is a wedding facility. Wedding facility is not allowed in that zoning. I found that out once I started going through the exceptional use through zoning to see if we can get an exception for that, but we can't. In the process, while I was going through this part, I found out that you can't do that facility in that space, period. And also it has to be 100 feet from in a residential area, so we got a double whammy. It's closer than 100 feet, and also it's not allowed at all. So that's where we're at now. I told owner I don't know if we can't get any kind of waiver. He's just gonna have to pull it out, remove all the construction he did, and he's gonna have to rent it out to somebody else other than, it has been acceptable zoning use other than wedding facility.
So, so to clarify, what you're saying is you may not get a permit because you may not do the construction, for the construction is for something that's not permitted.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay.
That zoning use is not allowed, so all this is a moot point now. I found that out once I got into it and started doing the construction documents.
Okay. Mayor, why don't you come back up for a minute? If they decide not to get the permit, is there anything that needs to be done to bring this building into compliance?
Well, the issue we have, the work has been done.
Work has been done.
Okay, regardless of if the business tax license get approved or not get approved, whether
Right.
tenant stays or moves out, the work has been done. So the owner
So you need,
added,
right, so you need the permit to be able to inspect it and make sure it's up to
Regardless.
code,
yes.
correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you still got to get a permit.
Right.
Okay, thank you, understood.
Sure.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
So
Yes.
if they tear the wall out, you still need a permit?
Yes, what they did, again, they expanded the existing store they had it. They moved the separation wall, so they added the square footage. So that's act as a separation partition wall, a smoke barrier, different, if the building has a suppression system, if the building doesn't have a suppression system, life safety. Is a lot of, ingredient it comes. So regardless, again, if that tenant cannot stay there because of the zoning, owner has to get a permit, for the work has been done, has been completed.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Mayor Freely, just for the purposes of the record and clarification, are you saying even if they remove the wall, the building has still been altered without a permit because of the size?
Well, they're not, most likely they're not gonna remove the wall because they added the wall, they expanded the space, they create the wall. Even if they take the wall, it's gonna be wide open space. So I'm not sure what direction they wanna go, but at this point, the work has been done and the space has been separated, has been created for the tenant. So if they wanna go back and take what they did completely out, I'm not sure, it's gonna be wide open space like a warehouse,
Right.
so,
So they could put a tenant in that space, it just can't be the tenant that wanted to go in that space.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
if they put any tenant in that space, they need a permit for that wall.
And not to mention that this particular tenant attempted different location, and we told them no, and this time, without letting us know ahead, she decided to lease the space, move forward, and then come back on the backside, apply for business tax license.
Okay, understood.
Yes.
Any further questions? Seeing none, I'll look for a motion.
Did you want to say something else?
Yes,
You'll
sir.
come on back up and restate your name for the record, please.
Okay. Yeah, my name is Perry Sullivan, and I just need some direction now because the tenant that's in there, that moved in there, the work is done. If I try to pull a permit for that work that's done, a zone is gonna kick it out, say, no, you can't do that work because it's not allowed to have that particular occupancy.
Well, I don't think the permit isn't going to address the occupancy. What's going to address is the wall that has already been constructed, and the permit is there basically to allow Amir and his team to inspect it, to make sure it meets the code. That wall can stay if it meets code.
Okay.
But you obviously can't put your original tenant in there. They could put another tenant in that space that for an allowable use. But that wall, since it's already up, you have to get a permit so that we can inspect it to ensure that it's built properly and meets code. The other alternative is to remove everything you put up.
Okay, see, the issue is a little more complex. It's not just the wall. The entire tenant built work without a permit that needs to be corrected. That's what I'm trying to
Yeah.
correct. I'm trying to correct all the work she did without a permit and also correct the work for the wall that they demoed.
Okay,
So,
well,
no.
get with Amir, he'll tell you what your options are, but
Okay.
it all boils down to, whatever you do, you're gonna need a permit.
No, I understand. I just need to know what permit to get.
Yeah, he can address that, you can sit with Amir or meet with him tomorrow, or call him tomorrow, and he'll address all the permits. He mentioned 3 or 4 when he was up here,
Oh,
so,
it's the whole gambit,
yeah.
everything.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
so, but he'll be able to address that with you.
All right,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
I have just one question.
Sure.
Is there any point at all to discuss why the tenant cannot be in that space, why it cannot be a wedding
No,
venue?
it's a separate issue, it's a zoning issue.
That's a zoning issue.
It's a zoning issue, and it's not, that's not before us tonight.
All right.
Very good.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I'll look for a motion.
In case number 20-4202, I move that the city has proven by greater weight of the evidence the following violation of the City of Pembroke Terrace Code exists on the property located at 12904 North 56th Street. This motion is based on a sworn testimony this board has received from the code enforcement officer, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and a notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that said violation be corrected or on or before December 9, 2020. If the respondent does not comply with this order on or before that day, they are ordered to pay a fine of each and every day the violation continue past the date set for the compliance. Upon considering the following factors: the gravity of the violation, any action taken by the violator to correct the violation, and any previous violation committed by the violator, I move that the fine be $25 per day.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second, any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays, motion carries. Next case, please.
Case number 24518, City versus Paul Stewart and Donna Mcrae Steward for the property located at 1519 North River Hills Drive. The case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 828A1 permits application required. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Director Tom Baroni. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening, Tom Baroni, Code Compliance. This case originated by Building Inspector Cheryl Bennett on July 30th, 2020, when she issued a stop work order for interior renovations, plumbing, mechanical, and electrical work that requires permits. On September 18, 2020, code staff received an email from Sharon Frankie. She's the permit coordinator of community development, requesting code staff to issue a notice of violation. That same day, I prepared a notice of violation with the compliance date of October 2nd, 2020. I hand-delivered the notice to the property owner on Saturday morning on September 18, 2020. On November 7th, code staff received an email advising that 2 of the permits had been obtained for the interior renovations and the mechanical permit. However, the electrical and the plumbing permits were still outstanding. A check today with community development noted that the 2 remaining permits still were not obtained. Therefore, the property remains out of compliance. Amir Anisi is here to answer any of your questions.
Thank you.
I did not observe anything on this property, so I have no photos.
Okay, thank you.
Amir, you want to?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, as Tom explained, as of today, we have building permit, we have mechanical permit, we have lack of plumbing and electrical. This is the construction plan. The applicant submitted clearly states that electrical is included, part of his renovation package. Plumbing and mechanical is included too. And we have few photos of interior. The detail of the work has been done.
If you want to submit them as evidence, we'll accept those.
Sure.
Before they get submitted, because looks like we don't have them up here, is this your property? Yes. Did you want to take a look at the pictures or you? Just so you know, the first time.
I haven't.
Okay.
Well, an extra set, okay. Thank you. So these weren't submitted in ahead of time? Okay. While the pictures are being passed around, do we have any questions for me? I think you can sit down. Thank you, Mayor.
Sure.
The respondent would like to say something. Please step up to the podium, state your name and address for the record, please.
Can I,
Sure.
Yeah, you can lower
Thank
it,
you.
sure.
Paul Stewart, 1519 North River Hills Drive, Temple Terrace. We used to live in Gillette for 12 years. We just sold our house. I have a summary, if I could submit it, or I can just read it. Does it matter?
All right.
It's just something you want to tell the board, is that?
Yes, okay,
Go ahead and read it.
Okay.
You can do both, actually.
okay. Well then, let's do that, then it might be easier.
Depending on how long it is, you may want to give us the
Okay, that's why I started
clip
thinking.
version of it.
Right, okay. All right, okay, we lived here 12 years, and we lived on Gillette, and we bought the house on River Hills. And then it had a tree actually touching the second floor of the house. And when I was in there, it was like a sledgehammer hitting the house, so I read up on what I had to do to get the tree removed, and I'd gotten a structural letter from, we got a structural letter, because the inspector said I needed to get a structural letter. So I got that one from Kevin Kemp with Wilson Structural, and then I called and said, I have the letter, and he says, go, you take the tree down. So I took the tree down. And then on July 15th, Temple Terrace had a really heavy rain. I was in there, though, before that. I tripped up all the tile. I like to put a acid-stained floor down, so I didn't think I needed a permit. But on July 15th, it rained, and when I was taking the flooring up, it was wet on the floor. So July 15th, we had a really heavy rain, so I ran to the house just to see what was going on. And the road, the drain had backed up, and the neighbor was out pushing cars out of the road. And it had come over it was like 3.5 feet up, and it came over the yard into the front door and the side. So that's why I knew where the water was coming from. So after I took some pictures, but I didn't think to bring them, but I just analyzed it, because I'm an engineering manager at the ball factory, so it was just not graded properly. It was holding a lot. The water wasn't able to come off the road and then into the side. So anyway, when that had happened, I'm just going off my notes, I had to take off the bottom 6 inches of the drywall, because when I took on and started inspecting it, it had some, some moldy stuff. So when I did that, I noticed that my AC guy came out to look at the air conditioning units, and when I had that drywall off, he noticed there was a hole in it from rodents. So then I said, rip it out, right? Because I'm like, there's no way I'm going to breathe that stuff in. And my wife would never forgive me. So, and then, so then on August 1st, a stop work order was found at the house, and because that was like July 8th, so it was really close to that time frame. And the stop work order had a different address on it. I can submit that if you like. So it's not a big of a deal. So it said 1503 North River Hills. So I on Monday, I called Cheryl Bennett. Well, I called to find, because her name was on it. So I called to find out what was going on, and then I talked about what I was doing, and she said, okay, you need to get permits. So then I hired ME Drafting. I brought him here with me, and that was okay. So I heard that was like.
Let me just stop you there.
Sorry.
Ask you a
Yeah.
couple of questions, if I may. Are you here tonight to say that you're going to get the permits, or that you don't think you need them, or what's the?
Oh, no, okay, so, sorry, so I'll
That's okay.
I'll
Yeah,
fast
just-
forward.
Yeah.
Sorry, okay. So it took a long time to get the permits, because there was some confusion with the structural, I guess. Anyway, yeah, you're right, I need to fast forward.
Yeah.
So, so when I got the permit, I took the contractor off of it, because I got my homestead now, because I sold my house off Gillette, so now we're living in a friend's house, it's crazy. So, fast forward. Where was I?
Let me try to help you.
Yes,
So
sorry.
you've got two permits outstanding.
Yeah, so I got the permit on Friday,
Right.
this, last week, and Cheryl had said, okay, we don't apply for the other permits, or for the electrical permit until you have your permit. I said, okay, so I did that, and then on Tuesday, I asked in the permitting email, I said, what do I need to do? How do I apply for the electrical and plumbing? And then she said, well, you can't, you have to get a licensed contractor. And I said, and then I sent another email back that I said I was the homeowner and I wanted to apply for the electrical and the plumbing. And then this morning at like 7 or 7:30, something like that, she emailed me back saying that only a licensed contractor in the city of Temple Terrace, you can't apply for your own plumbing or electrical permit. It has to be a licensed person. So I called my electrician, if he could pull a permit for me, and then I called a plumber, but I have not gotten back because.
Okay. Do you
Right, that's where I'm
anticipate
at.
being able to get the permit within 30 days?
Yes, sir, I should be able to,
Okay.
yes.
That's great. Okay. Any other questions for the respondent? No. Okay, I think we got the gist of it. Thank you. Did you want to submit the pictures or your chronology or whatever? Yeah, we'll accept those. Whatever it is you want to submit, we'll accept.
You have one for each of us, is that?
We don't need to, we'll pass it, we can pass it.
Just one.
Just one, one's plenty.
That's fine.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll do the speed reading on it.
Yeah,
There's one more thing I'd like to say.
yeah, you can pull your mask, yeah.
Anyway, I just saw these pictures today,
Mhm.
so it kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies that someone's in there taking pictures. But anyway, I just saw these things today, so,
Okay.
anyway.
Those pictures were there when he was there with you, I assume?
No,
No, no, you didn't, no, I meant Amir. Yeah, during the inspection process, they always take pictures, so.
yeah, I never brought anybody in. Anyway, that's
Okay,
just, okay, thanks.
thank you. But just to clarify, you do anticipate being able to get it, the other two permits within 30 days, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions? Seeing none, I'll look for a motion.
Go ahead, you first.
In case number 20-4518, I move that the city has proven by a greater weight of the evidence the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace City Code exist on the property located at 1519 North River Hills Drive, with the applicable violation, section 8-28A1. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the code enforcement officer, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and the notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that said violation be corrected on or before our next meeting, which is December the 9th, 2020. If the respondent does not comply with this order on or before that day, they're ordered to pay a fine for each and every day the violation continues past the date set for compliance. Upon considering the following factors: the gravity of the violation, any actions taken by the violator to correct the violation, and any previous violations committed by the violator, I move that the fine to be $25 a day up to $250 per day.
We'll pick one.
$25 a day.
Thank you. Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays, motion carries. So you now have 30 days before the fine starts to get the permits. If for whatever reason something comes up and you don't get the permits within 30 days, you need to come back to see us. Okay? Thank you. Next case, please.
Case number 24952, City versus Al Aqsa for the property located at 10801 North 56th Street. The case is before the board based on alleged violation of section 828A1. Permits application required. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Director Tom Baroni. The city is evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Thank you.
Tom Baroni, Code Compliance. This case this evening originated back on September 23rd, 2020, when the building official, Amir Anisi, observed interior renovations and electrical work construction without the required permits. After speaking with Mr. Anisi on October 12, 2020, he requested that I prepare a notice of violation due to the owner has not applied for any permits for the interior renovations at this commercial property. On October 13, 2020, a notice of violation was prepared with a compliance date of October 25, 2020. I hand-delivered the notice to the owner's son. I checked with Community Development on October 30th, and today's date noted no change, therefore the property remains out of compliance. Mr. Anisi is here to answer any questions, and the owner of the property is here as well.
Mr. Nisi? Again, just as in the other cases, how many, I heard renovation and electrical. Are there other permits that's going to be required, or just the general and electrical?
General electrical,
Okay.
yes.
Thank you. Any other questions for either code officer or Mr. Nisi? Thank you. If the respondent's here, you'd like to come up and say something? Be sure to state your name and address for the record,
Yes.
please.
My name is Wa'ad Day, 1649 Beaconsfield Drive, Wesley Chapel. I'm the engineer of record of the plan preparation for the renovation. The plans have been submitted, and I think building plans have been approved. We're waiting for any reviews for electrical. So it's in the court of the city. We're waiting for.
Okay, so they've been submitted, you're just waiting for a response.
Yes, we're
So
waiting
you should
for
be able
it.
to take care of it in 30 days.
I hope so.
Oh.
It depends on how fast we go.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Got it. Thank you. Any questions for the respondent? I don't see any. Thank you. Any other questions for any parties? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I guess I'll do this one.
Thank you.
In case number 20-4952, I move that the city has proven, let me take this up, proven by a greater weight of the evidence the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace City Code exist on the property located at 10801 North 56th Street. The applicable code section is 8-22A-1.
Point of order, it's 8-28A1.
Okay, 8-28A1, would you?
Yes.
You said, that's correct. You said 22 the first time.
Okay. This motion, excuse me, this motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the code enforcement officer and other witnesses, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and the notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that said violations be corrected on or before December 9th, 2020. If the respondent does not comply with this order on or before that day, they are ordered to pay a fine for each and every day the violation continues past the date set for compliance. Upon considering the following factors, the gravity of the violation, any actions taken by the violator to correct the violation, and any previous violations committed by the violator, I move that the fine to be $25 per day.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays, motion carries. So again, just like the other cases, you have 30 days to get your permits, and if for whatever reason that doesn't happen, you'll need to come back and see us again. Okay? Thank you. A little late now, and I don't think it's going to matter. We already made a ruling, so. Okay, thank you very much. Hopefully you get your permit in 30 days. Yes. Thank you. Next case, please.
Case number 23794, City versus HR Remodeling LLC for the property located at 218 Park Ridge Avenue. Case is before the board based on an alleged violation of Section 828A1, permits application required. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Officer Doug Allen. City has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were both properly served.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and board members. Doug Allen, Code Compliance Officer. This case originated by Community Development on August 11th, 2020, regarding the need for an electrical permit for interior renovations. I went directly to a notice of violation, which was prepared on August 11th with a compliance date of August 17th, 2020. And I posted the notice at the site as well as at City Hall, and copies were mailed, both certified and regular mail, to the address of the owner of record. A permit was applied for but not paid for. And after no response at contacting the owner, a notice of hearing was prepared on October 26, and the case was scheduled for the November Municipal Code Board meeting. This time, I'd like to submit photographic evidence of the violations taken by me on August 12, 2020.
Accept those. Thank you.
Thanks.
Exhibit number 1 shows the notice of violation posting. I've had no contact from the owner or their representative. Building official Amir Anisi is present if you have any questions for him. The site is now in compliance for failure to pay for the electrical permit, and I'm seeking a finding.
So
They
it's
did
in
pay for
compliance,
the-
they paid for the permit, everything's good.
Yes, sir.
What was the date that they paid for the,
That happened in the past week, I know that.
okay, so sometime last, this week or last?
Yes, sir.
Okay, but it's currently in compliance.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? Seeing none, I'll look for a motion.
In case number 20-3794, I move that the city has proven by greater weight of the evidence the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace Code exist on the property located at 218 Park Ridge Avenue with applicable violations of section 8-28A1. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the code enforcement officer, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and a notice of violation, all of which received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that there be no fine imposed for the violation codes for section 8-28A1 because the violations were brought into compliance prior to the date of this hearing. I further move that the remaining violations be corrected on or before December 9th. If the respondent does not comply with the order on or before that day, they are ordered to pay the fine for each and every day violation.
Point of order.
Yes.
There's only one violation of section 8-28A1. That violation has been brought into compliance, so there's really no further need to go on with that.
Thank you very much for that. So that was the end of that.
Why don't you amend your motion to just include the one section, and please reiterate that it has been brought into compliance.
I want to amend my statement. There be no fine imposed on a violation of the one violation, section 8-28A1. And what was the other part, sir?
That's enough.
That was it.
That's it. Okay, so we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays. So if the respondent is here, then you've been brought into compliance. There's no fine. You're good to go. He's not here. Okay. Well, good. They said it anyway. Maybe he's watching. Okay, next case, please.
Okay, we're going to hear the lien reduction next, and
Okay.
Director Brony will present.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Code Board members, Tom Baroni, Code Compliance Director. At this time, I would like to introduce this lien reduction petition request in case number 060323, 060876, 12-0983, 13-0999, 15-2858, 15-2864, 16-1752, 18-3920, and case number 19-1924.
Just a clarification. You said 18 dash what?
18-3920.
Okay, I have 3950.
I have
Okay.
3920.
39.
I have this
It
one
should
here.
be-
It still is.
It's 3920.
3920 is the correct one? Okay, so
Yes.
just my document is incorrect. Okay.
City versus Craig Brunstein, property located at 418 Ferncliff Avenue, with a lien amount of $211,040. Mr. Brunstein's property has been presented to the Code Board on various violations, which include accumulation of debris, boat unscreened from view in front yard, unsanitary swimming pool, a wood fence in disrepair, and a commercial vehicle on the property. With 143 total code and staff inspections totaling $5,200, and the city clerk's cost of $1,100, totaling $6,300. There is also an outstanding water bill, a utility bill of $447.32. My recommendation to the board this evening is to reduce this lien amount from $211,040 to $6,800. contingent on the petitioner pays the outstanding utility bill, which is included in this reduction.
Okay,
So-
okay, we've talked about this before, I don't think we can, Ernie, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we can roll it all into one fine, right? They're two separate issues. One moment. The lien reduction is one thing, and we can make a contingent on payment of the water bill, but we can't roll the fine, the water bill into the fine. I think they're two separate issues, correct?
Well, you don't have jurisdiction, for the purpose of the record, Ernest Mueller, Deputy City Attorney. You don't have jurisdiction over the utility bill.
Right.
However, what they've done, and we can wait for Mr. Brunstein to come up and speak, but, somewhat felt we were doing him, if he, by the reduction and including that in the amount of the reduction, then once we get paid, the city can go ahead and transfer that over to the utility bill so that it's already paid for.
Okay.
So it's,
So
we can listen to how Mr. Brunstein would like to address that, but you definitely don't have jurisdiction on the utility bill, but as far as saying, hey, you have to pay the utility bill, but you do have, as to how much gets reduced, and we're trying to accommodate Mr. Brunsfield, Mr. Brunstein, with regard to the payment.
Okay.
Getting that outstanding.
So the city is okay with a lump sum amount to take care of both issues?
Well, that's what we're talking, and that's kind of where the clerk,
One minute.
Kristen would come in, because it would be coming to her, and then she would have to get the
Okay.
money transferred.
I have one other question. Who's James B. Burns?
The original owner?
Right.
No, no, that is a different case. Was that on your document?
Yeah, that's on my document.
That's just an incorrection.
Okay.
The owner is Craig Brunstein.
Okay, sorry, so it's a typo.
Yes.
Okay,
It sounds familiar, but I don't think it pertains to this case.
it's not this
The
case.
last one.
I think it was the last one,
Okay,
last month.
okay. Very good. All right, so, city's recommendation is $6,800, contingent on the water bill being paid, and that's to come out of the $6,800. That's the
correct.
city's recommendation.
That's correct.
Okay. The respondent would like to say something, come on up, state your name and address for the record, please.
Thanks, Tom.
You're welcome, sir.
What is the water bill from?
Name and address for the record.
Oh, Craig Brunstein, 418 Ferncliff. I moved my utilities over to direct withdrawal a long time ago, so I'm just curious what the $400, what it's from. Because I would go and meet the ladies and pay them every month, and they're like, why don't you get on direct, because I used to travel a lot before all this crap hit, and now I'm home, and so I switched it over to direct withdrawal, so just kind of curious what it's from.
I looked at my email, so I have an email from the customer service manager, Michael Cox, and it was on October 29th, 2020, and he just said, because I asked if there was anything owed, I checked with all the departments, and he had told me that $447.32 is owed on account number 104-525-132-330.
But from when? I'm on direct
I
withdrawal.
do not have the date of the amount. He just gave me the account number, and he said it was from your property.
Obviously, you can't straighten that out tonight,
No.
but
I would say, in light of this question, rather than including the utility bill
I mean,
in
if
the
I owe a
amount-
water bill, I'm happy to pay it, but
Yeah.
I shouldn't, because it should have been coming out automatically.
But what I would recommend is
And
that we
$400
keep it
has gotta be-
contingent, on it, and hopefully this
Yes.
can get taken care of
right,
in the next
contingent
day.
on the water bill being brought up to date for whatever the reason.
Because that amount has to be like at least 5 or 6 months. Probably more, just water.
Yeah,
Yeah.
couple
So-
months at least, yeah.
Mr. Brunstein, I would recommend tomorrow you get a hold of
Utilities.
utilities over there and try and straighten that out. As I was saying, as you were kind of talking while I was saying it, my recommendation was to pull that amount out of that total
Yeah, I was saying all
for the fine
separate.
reduction, but it's still gonna be contingent
That's fine.
on pay. All right, sir.
So if we make it $63.50, assuming that the water bill will get paid separately, is that acceptable to?
I mean, I'm trying to sell the house because
Yeah.
when COVID hit, our business, I'm trying to sell the house to keep the business open.
Yeah,
So-
okay. All right, so just simple math, not actual math, but simple math. If we do $63.50, and then whatever the water bill is, you pay that separately. that's, I think that would be my recommendation to the code board, is to make the lien reduction from $211,040 down to $63.50, contingent upon any outstanding water bills paid. If there aren't any, then there aren't any, but if there are, then they need to be paid too.
Because I haven't gotten any notices in the mail from utilities.
Okay, well,
And you would think I would get something if
Fair.
it was, like,
You owe that amount, you will have to pay that $447.
yeah, but should, they
But
probably,
it-
yeah, of
it's
course.
just- I'm just saying, I just want to
yeah,
make sure.
so,
But wouldn't they have notified me if the direct withdrawal wasn't working?
We can't
well, we
speak
can't
to
answer that.
Okay.
I mean,
But just so you understand what the motion may end up being, the contingency part is if the bill's not paid, the fine reduction, you won't have the opportunity to go with the fine reduction if the city council approves it.
okay, so at this point, if there's no other questions, I'll entertain a motion.
Well, there is. I
You have a question? Okay.
Yeah, it says on here, I'm new to seeing these things here, but it says the lien amount is 211,000. So how did we get to 6,000?
Based on the inspections of 143 inspections by code staff, there's a calculation that we use for each inspection. So that's how we come out to that total amount.
Oh,
So the code staff, with 143 inspections, comes out to $5,200.
oh,
And the clerk's cost is $1,100.
oh, okay,
So that's how we come to those numbers.
yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, because it's only, of course, it's only 3% of the total, but yeah, it needs to make sense. But the thing that, that it can, it catches my eye, say, wow, this would go back to 2012. Is that true? It
Yes,
goes
sir.
back to 2012?
I
But then, so
I mean,
so
it's
why?
a long, long story.
Yeah, so, if I was on the board all this time, I would say, I'd want to, there's no way I'd vote for $6,000. I mean, we don't want to see someone for 8 years. It just doesn't even make sense. It just does not make sense.
Well, the overriding mission of the code board is to get compliance, not to impose fines. And what, $211,000
Well,
fines.
I think y'all do a great job with that here, I really do, which is a good thing for Temple Terrace. But on the other hand, when people go to prison, there's a purpose. And it's not just compliance, obviously. Okay, stop killing it, no, there's a price. So it's something that seems to be egregious, that's almost shocking. Yes or no?
Oh, I'm the one that's been living with it, I know. And you don't know the story behind it, but a lot of the guys in code enforcement know me and are friendly with me, and they know that what I'm the situation that I'm
The
dealing
bottom
with.
line is we have a recommendation from staff of $63.50 contingent on the water bill being paid if there is any outstanding water bills. You are welcome to, if we haven't had a motion yet, so once we hear the motion, you're always welcome to vote in favor or against any motion that's
No,
presented.
I don't have any other questions.
Okay.
Anyway.
You got a question, sir?
Yeah, and maybe it doesn't apply, but, so is paying the lien based on you selling the house?
I'm gonna borrow the money to pay the lien so I can sell the house
So
clear.
you can do that within the 30 days?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that was my thought. I was
My
like,
folks
well,
are gonna loan me the,
there's no guarantee you could sell the house in that period of time. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I just want to make sure the board members understand that my numbers are only a recommendation to the board.
Yeah.
So if you feel as though that my numbers are not correct, you have the right to make another
Yeah.
motion for a different number.
Well, they haven't made any motion yet, but they have a right to make a
Well,
motion
I-
for any number they feel
I-
is adequate.
I think you gave a very good answer.
Okay.
Samir?
No questions.
Sure. Is there, going back to what Alan was saying, is there a quick version of why this has been going until 2012? I don't want the long version, just a quick.
Not to get into deep, but Mr. Brunstein's been through a lot of financial issues
Sure, okay,
for many years, and I'm very well aware of that.
okay.
And I think it's just best for the neighbors that we move forward
Gotcha.
and resolve this.
Gotcha.
So that's why I came to this fair amount.
Okay, fair enough.
Go ahead.
All right. In case numbers 05-0323, 06-0876, 12-0983, 13-0999, 15-2858, 15-2864, 16-71752, 18-3920, and 19-1924 for property located at 418 Ferncliff Avenue.
Point of order.
Yes, sir.
It's is it 418 or 419?
18.
Okay, well, I got 419, so my apologies.
Upon hearing the facts and argument from the city and the property owner, I hereby move that the board recommend to the city council that the lien be reduced from $211,040 to $6,350, contingent upon any outstanding water bills or any outstanding payments be paid within 30 days of the council's decision, or will revert to the original amount of $211,040. And the city is authorized to enforce the fine in accordance with the law, if not done by December 9th, next month.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays, motion carries. So what happens now is, it's not over. Okay, this recommendation, and I will be there, will go to, I don't know if it's the next council meeting or the one after that,
It would have to go to December 15th.
December 15th. So at the December 15th council meeting, I will make the recommendation from this board to the council for what you just heard.
So I still can't sell my house.
Not with the lien on it, no.
Okay.
That's the way, that's the process. If council has no obligation to accept our recommendation, however, historically, most of the time they do. So at that hearing, at the council meeting, I will make the recommendation you just heard. They will vote on it. That's when the clock starts ticking.
Okay.
You will have 30 days from that particular point to pay any outstanding water bills and the $6,350 fine.
We'll
If
take care of the water or whatever it is.
Yeah, if the fine and the water bills are not paid within 30 days of that council meeting date, it reverts back to the $211,040. Now, I am not a leasing person, I am not a real estate agent. However, you may be able to get some paperwork to I guess, identify and recognize that this is going in front of council, and that may help in the sale process. I don't know. But that's
Okay.
something to talk to your real estate agent about, or your attorney, whoever. But there may be a way to recognize that even though you don't have the final documents, that you may be, that there's.
Exactly. You could put that money in escrow.
Yeah.
I think you go and sell, I think you can do it probably, just in
But,
escrow.
but, again, that's just a suggestion for you to find out.
Yeah.
I'm not making any legal determinations. I'm simply making a suggestion for you to explore.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you. Next case, please.
Next case will be, we are going to go to unfinished business.
Hang on a second. We still have two cases that we haven't.
Yes, but we do have a gentleman here for unfinished business.
For unfinished business? Okay, let's do that then.
Okay. Case number 23668, City versus Deborah Ripken, for the property located at 12912 North 53rd Street. The deadline for compliance is tonight at midnight.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Lori Smith, Code Compliance. Mr. Chairman, as of today's date, the permit has not been obtained, but the respondent is here this evening, so everyone would like to address the board.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Please state your name and address for the record before you begin.
I'm the husband of Deborah Rifkin, and we were repairing our...
Address, please.
12912 North 53rd Street.
Thank you.
We were repairing the patio, and it was taking about 9 months. And Lori came by, she was watching and observing, and then so when we were away in New York for our son's wedding, so we received a stop order. I thought we were allowed, since we are homesteaded there, to be able to do repairs on the patio. So we submitted a permit request to Amir, I think is his name, but he said you have to get blueprints. So we went ahead and we contacted on October 29th a blueprint person, Mr. Jose Cordova, and he's preparing the blueprints. He was supposed to have them ready for today, but then we had the storm. He said it won't be ready till next week. So I called up the city, I think it was Cheryl Barnett, and she said to just come and ask for an extension. And then you'll be able to go ahead and do that. So I'm here tonight to ask for an extension. The blueprints won't be ready probably till next week or the week after.
Okay, so once the blueprints are ready, then you can get your permit, and
Then
then
we will get
you
our
go back to
permit.
work. You're not doing any work now, right?
No, I stopped everything.
Okay, so you're here to,
There's one-
ask for an extension to get your permit?
Yes. There's just one thing that he asked me to clarify. We have here Mr. Marc Weiss, who's also the contractor, was Lori thought it was a bedroom extension, but it's not. It's just a patio. So he said that you probably need a general framing permit, So I guess I have to get with Amir to ask him that. Or Lori, you're here. So you agree it's not a bedroom, it's just a patio, so.
Okay, yeah, so get rid of Amir, he'll make sure you get the right permit.
So can we have the
And
extension?
you're here tonight to get a 30-day extension?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine. We said
Okay,
till next council meeting or whatever.
I'll entertain a motion.
Sure.
And it doesn't have to follow any of that. You can just say that, that you make the motion that we allow case number 20 dash blah, 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 a 30-day extension. It'd be that simple.
Okay, perfect. In case number 2036-68, I move for an extension for the violation to be corrected on or before December 9th.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second? Motion is second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays? You got your extension.
Thank you, sir.
And if for any reason something comes up and you don't get it, come back and see us.
Mark,
Thank you.
want to say anything? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next case, please.
Okay, we will hear the first two cases.
Okay.
then. Case number 203091, City versus Fadi and Herbawi and Candy Almaghtheh for the property located at 7932 Terrace Ridge Drive. Cases before the board based on alleged violation of section 12861E6, fences appearance. Case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Lori Smith. City has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were both properly served.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, board members, Lori Smith, Code Compliance. This case originated proactively July the 6th, 2020. My inspection revealed the rear yard vinyl fence stained with mildew. At that time, I left a door hanger with the compliance date of July the 29th, 2020. My inspection on August the 29th, 2020 revealed no change. Therefore, a notice of violation was prepared with a compliance date of September the 15th, 2020. No one was at home, so I posted a notice at the front door, and I requested copies be mailed both certified and regular mail to the address of record. I also requested a copy be posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement. My inspection on October the 27th, 2020 revealed no change, and at this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence that was taken by me on the 2nd of September 2020 showing the violations. Exhibit number 1 shows a notice letter posted at the front door. Exhibit number 2 shows the rear vinyl fence stained with mildew.
We'll accept those. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And the property, as of tonight, still remains in violation?
Yes, sir. It's still out of compliance. I have spoken, Mr. Chairman, to the homeowner who had promised to take care of the mildew and get the fence cleaned, and it hasn't been taken care of yet. So yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
The site is out of compliance, and I'm seeking a ruling.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions for the officer? Seeing none, I'll look for a motion.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Thank you.
That this would be completed within 30 days.
Yes.
Okay. In case number 20-3091, I move that the city has proven by a greater weight of the evidence the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace City Code exist on the property located at 7932 Terrace Ridge Drive. In violation of Section 12-861E6, appearance offenses. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the code enforcement officer, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and the notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that said violation be corrected on or before December the 9th, 2020. If the respondent does not comply with this order on or before that day, they are ordered to pay a fine for each and every day the violation continues past the date set for compliance. And upon considering the following factors, the gravity of the violation and the actions taken by the violator to correct the violation and any previous violations committed by the violator, I move that the fine be $25 per day.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays. Motion carries. Next case, please.
Next case, case number 23485, City versus Reima, Nihad, Rammouni, and Mohammed in Thabata for the property located at 8022 Terrace Ridge Drive. Case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 8102.13b, exterior walls maintained in good repair, and Section 8102.13c, roofs maintained in good repair. Case will be prosecuted this evening by a code compliance officer, Lori Smith. City has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were both properly served.
Thank you.
Good evening again, Mr. Chairman, board members. Lori Smith, Code Compliance. This case originated proactively July the 23rd, 2020. My inspection revealed front wall and fascia staining. At that time, I left a door hanger with compliance dated July the 27th, 2020. My inspection on the 3rd of August 2020 revealed no change. Therefore, a notice of violation was prepared with the compliance date of August the 12th, 2020. No one was at home, so I posted the notice at the front door and requested copies be mailed both certified and first class to the owner of record. I also requested copies be posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement. My inspection on October the 30th, 2020 revealed no change. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence that was taken by me on the 30th of August, 2020. Exhibit number 1 shows a notice letter posted at the front door. Exhibit number 2 shows the front fascia stains. Exhibit 3 and 4 shows front wall stains.
We'll accept those. Thank you.
Thank you.
And
Mr.
the,
Chairman, I have had contact with the homeowner. The work was scheduled, actually, sir, for yesterday, but due to the weather, it was impossible to have that done. I believe, given an extension, if the board agrees, he would bring the site into compliance, sir. He's currently away in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, it's probably tough to get back. Okay, thank you.
Yes,
Any
sir.
other questions for the officer? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll go. So in case number 20-3485, I move that the city has proven by a greater weight of the evidence the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace City Code exist, on the property located at, make sure that's the right address, 8022 Terrace Ridge Drive. The applicable codes are 8-102.13b. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the code enforcement officer, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and the notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that said violations be corrected on or before December 9, 2020. If the respondent does not comply with this order on or before that day, they are ordered to pay a fine for each and every day of the violation, every day the violations continue past the date set for compliance. Upon considering the following factors, the gravity of the violation, any actions taken by the violator to correct the violation, and any previous violations committed by the violator, I move that a fine to be $25 per day.
Per violation.
per violation.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Chair, before we vote on that, I don't know if you mentioned both code sections. I heard 8:1.
Oh, sorry. Let me amend my
I believe he did, but go ahead and reiterate.
second, but code violation 8-10213C, as well as 8-10213B.
Thank you. Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No opposed, motion carries. Next case, please.
We will now go to
Unfinished business, yep.
Okay. Case number 201531, City versus Vincent R. and Cynthia J. Adkins for the property located at 5513 Temple Heights Road. An affidavit of noncompliance was submitted by Code Compliance Officer Doug Allen for sections 1034, 8102, 13B, and 103B dated October 15th. Case number 203200, City versus Natalie Anderson for the property located at 105 Deer Park Avenue. The deadline for compliance is tonight at midnight. Case number 3203898, City versus MC2 Innovations, Inc. for the property located at 502
Okay,
Courtney.
maybe before you go on,
Yes,
you said 3898, I've got 3989.
I'm checking. It is 3898.
Okay.
Would be the correct number.
All right,
And that is located at 502 Courtney Drive. The deadline for compliance is tonight at midnight. Case number 23967, City versus SWH 2017-1, Borrower LP for the property located at 8518 Queen Brooks Court. Deadline for compliance is tonight at midnight. And case number 24186, City versus DIRI 5502 LP for the property located at 5502-04 Temple Heights Road. An affidavit of compliance was submitted by Code Compliance Officer Doug Allen for Section 104B3 dated November 5th.
very good, thank you. Is there any other board action by the code board? Anybody have any new business? Excuse me?
After the meeting, I would like to say something.
After the meeting, on the record or off the record?
Well, we wanted to thank you from the veterans of our city.
You can do it on the record. The floor is yours.
To the citizens, as a veteran, I just want to thank you all for just all your love that you showed us veterans yesterday. It was I received numerous things from children, from Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, and from ROTC members. And, you know, just with the local restaurants and businesses reaching out to the veterans, offering the discounts, you know, we did this all for free. It was just so we can enjoy our freedoms, and just the care and honor that you gave us. We're just ever so thankful for all that you do for us and for appreciating and acknowledging us and your efforts. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your service.
As a citizen of Temple Terrace and not a chair or anything else, we all owe you a debt that can never be repaid. And we simply, we pick one day a year to thank you, but we should be thanking you every day. Thank you.
I second that.
Any other business? I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I second.
Well, nobody made the motion yet.
Brandon Smith, move that we adjourn the meeting.
Okay, motion's been made. Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.